Veronica,
Hmm.
do you remember what the quintessential tagline of this movie is?
It takes all kinds of critters to make a fritter.
That's it. That's it. Yes, it takes all kinds of critters to make Farmer Vincent's fritters. Hey, everybody. This is Don't Watch at Night, your spooky little podcast dedicated to Spanish language horror and Latin American horror. I am your host, Valerie.
And I'm Veronica.
And we're back today with another Halloween 80s era bonus episode. This is special to the month of October. So today, Veronica and I are strolling through the garden of heads that can only be found at Motel Hell.
I wonder if this was the genesis of the idea for Cabbage Patch Kids. Wouldn't that be funny?
You want to tell people what you're snacking on today?
Well, I just got back from picking up my youngest at the high school, and he wanted to stop at the convenience store. So I figured, well, what better snack to talk about this movie than some good old beef jerky?
Do you have a particular brand of beef jerky that you go for, or is it just whatever's available?
Just grabbed Jack Leeks.
There is, yeah, I'm familiar with that one. There used to be a place somewhere in Texas that we would stop at. I can't remember if it was when you guys were in college and we would stop at that place on the way to visit you or what, but they had really good beef jerky.
I like it to be a little tender. I don't like the kind where it's just like really just tough. It's completely desiccated and it's hard to chew.
Okay, just as a reminder, here's how it's going to work today. For those of you tuning into your first Halloween 80s era episode, we're piecing together something that we're kind of going for something that's equal parts mystery science theater and also just like people who talk annoying trivia throughout the whole movie. So hopefully you enjoy it. You're going to be getting some live watch reaction clips from me laced in with this kind of semi-deep dive that we're doing into this screwball horror movie, which means consider giving this a listen as you maybe have the movie going on in the background, or if you're already really well versed in this movie, then you're going to have no problem following along. Let me go ahead and give you my little bit of trivia, or a little bit of information about this film, I should say. Motel Hell came out in 1980. It was written and produced by the Jaffe brothers, Robert and Stephen Charles Jaffe. They wrote this script inside of 4 weeks, which kind of shows.
I believe it. Actually, surprised it took them that long.
Supposedly, okay, so they wrote this inside of like 4 weeks, sometime in 1977. And then would you believe, Ron, would you believe that they really had a hard time shopping this one around to the different studios?
I don't know, because maybe it's and I think it was intended to be super campy and silly, but I also wonder if maybe just the cannibalistic aspect of it
maybe turn people off.
Maybe back in the 80s when we were a little bit more naive and sheltered, the studios were like, I can't show this.
Yeah. Well, so like at one point, Toby Hooper was supposed to be attached to this project. And he is the one who directed the far more serious slasher Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mm-hmm.
But the studio, I don't really know the particulars of it, whether the studio backed out after Hooper dropped off the project or if Hooper dropped off the project after the studio backed out. But either way, ultimately, the directing gig fell to Kevin Connor on the strength of his work in 1974's From Beyond the Grave. Apparently, the Jaffe brothers really liked that film. He directed that one also. So they were like, come on board and direct our little gem. So we are kickstarting 1980's Motel Hell, directed by Kevin Connor, who is the director behind The Land That Time Forgot and also The People That Time Forgot. He was also, and this may be interesting only to like a certain subset of people who may or may not overlap with the people who actually love this podcast, but he directed Book 2 of North and South, Book 2, Love and War of North and South. I don't know anything really about North and South, the TV series. I didn't watch it when I was young. I do know that it has a young Patrick Swayze. So we are automatically opening on a shot of Rory Calhoun at like what looks to be the porch of Motel Hello. So Rory Calhoun passed away in 1999, made over 80 films and did a bunch of TV. I believe he was in an episode or two of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, a show that I only know because probably Nick at Night. He's putting bullets into his jacket pocket. Not too sure. He's reaching for his rifle. Here we go again. Another man, another night, another rifle. But yeah, Rory Calhoun in a lot of Westerns. That's kind of what the basis of his career is. Also, he was in How to Marry a Millionaire. And you'll see photos of him online with Vera Ellen from back in the day. I don't know if they ever did a movie together. If you know that they did, please let me know. I don't believe that they did. But I do know that they were both 20th Century Fox contract players back in the day. And she obviously went on to be very successful in musicals, Hello, White Christmas, he in Westerns. And it was not uncommon for studios back then to send their young starlets out on these prearranged dates as a way to generate good PR. Okay, so he's getting in his truck right now. He's headed out somewhere. This movie I saw also has Elaine Joyce, who did a lot of daytime TV. And she was also in 90210, Beverly Hills 90210. Farmer Vincent, smoked meats. This is it. So we got an old red truck out there at night, driving around. Where's he headed? What's he doing? He's in the brush. He's got his rifle, sniffing the air. I don't actually know that he's doing that, but that seems like the thing that people in these movies always do. They sniff the air. We see a motorcycle. We see a young couple driving down the roadways. And what is he doing? What is Rory Calhoun doing out there? He's eyeing the motorist, the motorcyclist on the, oh no, that dude is skidding out. Well, you shouldn't be riding your bike at night. Like that's rule number one. I don't know a whole lot about motorcyclists, but I never really see them riding at night for the most part. There's a lot of safety to be had for riding in the day. Those people crashed and now he's backing up his truck. Rory Calhoun, whose name I don't know yet, is backing up his truck for reasons undetermined at this point. But it don't look good. Did he lay a trap for these people? Given how opportunistic this feels, I'm betting he set a trap for these people. Now, Motel Hell, kind of a cult classic, dark horror comedy. So I'm looking forward to being entertained here. Uh-oh, that girl's still alive. Well, he's gonna fix that. Sorry, my inclination when we're watching movies that take place in like rural settings like this is to automatically jump into that voice. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be insulting. I grew up in the South, so it's not outside of what I know. So I do take a little bit of liberty here. She's alive. What's he going to do about, okay, well, now it's daytime. She was alive, though. It seemed like she was in and out. Collider.com calls Motel Hell creepy and unabashedly weird. They say it thrives on its absurdist humor. Mm. And then they said this, Veronica, and I'm going to tell me if I missed this. For example, they say, there is a musical number involving the heads of the buried victims, providing an air of levity to the dark events that occur throughout. Did I miss that? Is there a singing number in the movie?
I did not see one, but their vocal cords are slashed, so how can they sing?
Well, I was just like, I don't think they sing.
I will say, because you had told me when you were watching it earlier in the week, you texted me and said that, it's an hour and 45 minutes. And I got it free off of AMC On Demand channel, which was only an hour and 36 minutes. So I was thinking, well, maybe this was like an edited for commercial breaks. And so I thought maybe I am missing some scenes from that. But even like their vocal cords were cut. They couldn't even speak. How are they singing?
Right. Okay.
Unless they're just humming.
I was just like, did I miss? Well, it made me wonder. I was like, was there a different version of this where that includes that? Because I didn't watch that version. So listeners, if you know, please tell us. Because dang, I want to see the singing heads in the ground.
Now I'm going to be like, what would have been an appropriate song in the 80s that they would have been singing?
Okay, how old would you have been? How old were you in 1980?
Matt was my nemesis, Valerie.
Okay, well, I'm not. Okay, so then, however old you were, would this movie have scared you then? Go back into your younger brain.
I don't think so. Because I think it wasn't, I think it was written with the intention of being goofy.
Yeah.
just kind of almost over the top spoofy. I don't think it
Yeah.
was intended to be a serious, like,
Well, so that
movie.
kind
I
of
hope not.
Okay, so now they're dealing with customers. Your smoked meats are superior. They're the best. We enjoy your meat, Mr. Smith. Oh, how precious. Fine people dressed in overalls. I do love me some beef jerky. I got to tell you, I don't partake of it much anymore, but there's nothing like a road trip and some good quality beef jerky. 100% honest to goodness hickory smoked meat, he says. Just short of $3, not bad. Creepy twins. Creepy twins with matching balloons. What the hell is that? Knee-high socks. And I've said this before, thanks to Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis. Bring back knee-high socks. Like, legitimately bring them back, though. Don't bring them back in some ironic way. That's a pig's head. Oh, okay, because there's lots of smoked meats going on here. This must be the butcher house. Girlies, why are you in there? Get out. Driving them towards a love of vegetarianism. This will be the moment that does that. This will be the moment that scars them for life. And I never touched a piece of bacon again. Oh, here comes some flying pigs. Hung on the rack. And a pig face man. Yeah, girls, run for it. Run screaming. They're like screaming bloody murder in the car. And their parents are like, what the hell's going on? Those girls are never going to touch meat again. Farmer Vincent, who just scared the holy hell out of these children. This was back in the day when you could do that. You could drive up to a meat market, have some creeper dude scare the crap out of your children and traumatize them for life and say, thank you, sir. We'll be back by here for more meats. You know, apart from the creepy vibe Farmer Vincent is giving off, these are very picturesque scenes of country. Not sure where this film's taking place, but clearly somewhere where flannel and denim makes sense. Now, I will tell you, unlike Pumpkinhead, Motel Hell is a movie that not only have I not seen, but it hasn't been spoiled for me. Though I do kind of understand a little bit what it might be about just based on certain things I've read, but I don't know anything about this movie. So we got a police car showing up to Motel Hello with sirens blazing, cowboy boots emerging from the vehicle. Who's this gentleman? So this seems to be a local sheriff who's shown up. I'm not sure why he showed up with the sirens on, but the place seems to be empty of people at the moment. And he's wandering back. Oh, there's that lady. What the hell? Why is she attacking the sheriff? Ida, let him loose. Let Bruce go. Ida played by Nancy Parsons. Bruce by Paul Link. Hey, is that the girl who came too? That's Terry. Nina Axelrod. I want to see Bo. Where is he? Bo be dead. He passed away this morning, Vincent says. Oh, no. Yeah, babe, that's what passed away means. He's dead. Buried him at sunrise. So swift. Don't buy it. Don't believe it. Holy crap. Okay, so she just tried to rush out. Ooh, creepy. And that sheriff be hugging her in ways that are all kinds of appropriate. Sir, back away. Too close. Too close. Too much touching. There is discourse online around the idea that originally this script was going to be darker with a lot more violence and not really geared toward being a dark comedy. But then there are some movie fans, avid movie watchers that disagree on that. And a lot of people say, no, it was always intended to be funny. And so you were saying that you kind of feel like that had to have been what they were going for.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see how they would have thought that this would have come across as. And again, it's hard now in I'm not going to say my current age, but my current age brain to think back but I just don't think even in the 80s, I don't think this would have been a serious
like
movie.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That would have been.
I think this would have been in the same vein as like Saturday the 14th movie, which was kind of a spoof on the Friday the 13th. And it was meant to be kind of campy and over the top and ridiculous. Redonkulous. That's a better word for this movie. Redonkulous.
Redonkulous, yes. I mean, a garden of heads, that is disturbing. But yeah, like I don't know. For what it's worth, there are multiple sources that I came across that indicated that the low budget nature of the film sort of leaned into the campy realm, and so I think they were very smart to sort of run with that and play it from that angle.
Yeah. I mean, they
So
may have wanted to make a more serious movie, but maybe the budget said, "Hey, you can't really do it with
you
this
can't do
money,
it.
so let's pivot."
I'm
Pivot.
not I'm not entirely sure why. As an aside, I'm not entirely sure why. If the ultimate goal was for them to just harvest these people and then slaughter them, like why put them in the ground at all? I don't get it. Why not just keep them
Keep
in
the meat
cages?
fresh. I don't know.
Yeah, keep
Keep the
them
meat
fresh.
meat.
So Bob has showed up, presumably to inspect the pigs, it looks like. Seems to be some kind of a pig doctor, animal doctor. Looks a little too dressed up to be an animal doctor. There seems to be machinery coming from a building that he is walking up toward. I don't know if this is the slaughterhouse or what. Why would he be going in there? Bob, don't you know? You're an animal doctor, don't you know? Turn away, sir, lest you mess up that. Oh, there you go. Fell in the mud. Messed up that beautiful doctor coat. Bob tells Farmer Vincent, inspect those hooves. Some of them look like they're infected. He's just there to make sure that the pigs are being well taken care of. Honestly, that's not so much to ask. Farmer Vincent, get on top of your damn pigs. I do want to note that Farmer Vincent, when he emerged, was covered in blood, carrying a cleaver. I want to be specific. He was carrying a cleaver. Terry is upset. She's lost her bow. She doesn't know what she should do. Terry says, Bo was the only person I had. Do you feel all alone in this world? Farmer Vincent says. Who does she have, Farmer Vincent? Who? What the hell is Ida eating? You have yourself, he says. The very fact that you're sitting here with us proves that it was preordained. And Terry seems genuinely comforted by that. Who cares that Bo's dead? I'm here. I'm very curious how Ida nursed her back to health. Okay, so now they're sending her to bed. She is willfully their little dutiful gal. No vacancy, it says. How do they have no vacancy? They have one person staying there, yet they say no vacancy. A car is pulling up. It's nighttime. Farmer Vincent standing out there on his porch. U.S. government license plate. The dude coming out of the car looks an awful lot like Dr. Bob, to be perfectly honest, but I know it's not. Who's this guy? And why is he there? Okay, while we're watching this government agent climb this garden wall, I'm going to also use the opportunity to talk a little bit more about Kevin Connor. He, in addition to North and South, he also directed the TV miniseries Great Expectations that came out in 1989 with a younger Anthony Hopkins. And I bring that up only because I am very partial. I have a deep, inexplicable love for all Great Expectations adaptations, much the same way that Veronica's and my mother loves Pride and Prejudice adaptations in whatever form they take. It's the same with me in Great Expectations. Okay, so he's eyeballing stuff in a field. There's a bunch of what look like burlap sacks that are moving. Ew, and making noises in this field? Ah, disgusting. What does that sound? He's shining his flashlight on them. We don't know why the FBI agent is here. I want to understand why that's happening. But also, what's under this burlap sack? It's moving. It's fully moving. Oh, and making nasty sounds. That's a head? What the hell? Folks online, and I'm talking about discussion threads mostly when I say people online say that the dueling chainsaw fight at the end between the brothers was an idea thought up late in production, that it was not part of the original script. I did think that was kind of funny. It's like, oh, we raise your Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We've got two chainsaws.
And mind you, Bruce, the sheriff guy or the law enforcement brother, had a rifle. Why are you going to give up your rifle to duel with a chainsaw? Shoot him in the leg if you don't want to kill your brother. Just shoot him in the leg.
Just shoot to wound. Surprisingly, Roger Ebert reviewed this movie and gave it a glowing 3 stars, which is, he wrote pretty lovingly about it. His review sort of dived into what he called sleazoid movies, which I guess he's talking about slashers, the slasher genre.
Sleazoid. I like that word, sleazoid.
Sleazoid movies. So this is what he says. I think it's just best to read what he wrote because talks about it well. What Motel Hell brings to this genre is the refreshing sound of laughter. The movie is disgusting, of course. It's impossible to satirize this material, I imagine, without presenting the subject matter you're satirizing. But Motel Hell is not nearly as gruesome as the films that it satirizes. Satirizes?
I don't know.
Anyway, it finds
Makes fun of.
it finds the right stylistic note for its central characters who are simple, cheerful, smiling, earnest, and resourceful cannibals. He also said this, and I'm reading all of these excerpts, by the way, because I think it's really informative for us in terms of what Ebert thought of horror in general, perhaps. So he says, it isn't simply the subject matter of sleazoid movies that makes them reprehensible. It's their low opinion of human nature, their acquiescence in the proposition that the world is essentially an evil place. Motel Hell, with Rory Calhoun looking like a Norman Rockwell model in his bib overalls, pushes its material so far in such unlikely directions that incredibly it works as satire. A lot of horror movies used to work that way. I feel like this, you might agree with this. We went to be scared, sure, but we also went to laugh and enjoy the delicious self-indulgence with which Vincent Price or Christopher Lee hammed it up. But horror movies stopped being funny, and now they're mostly just depressing, disgusting exercises in depravity. Ida's climbing in the truck. She's obviously in on it, which makes sense because she's creepy as hell, but I'd still eat her eggs and sausage. Okay, so Farmer Vincent is telling Ida in the truck ride, yeah, he likes all the traps they set along the road to lure their victims. It gives him a chance to be creative and artistic. This is a fun movie. This is fun. So stupid, but fun. Oh, these two twisted, overall loving killers. They're going to pass the secret garden gate, over the garden wall. Are they going to plant some heads in the ground? And Ida is walking out there with arms open. Hello, my children. This is how I walk out into the garden when I'm trying to harvest my tomatoes. There is a head snarling at her. Oh, almost ready for the picking, but not quite, so she smacks him. She's talking to them. She's nurturing them. This is what you do with the plants when you want to see a good harvest. You want them to grow. She's saying you'll catch the hang of speech as a head planted in the ground. Just give it time. I have also heard that that's what you're supposed to do when you have bees. And as someone who would love to have a hive of bees someday, look at them. Guess who? Who is it? Who's under the mystery burlap sack? It's Bob. Bob. Okay. Farmer Vincent is digging a huge hole. Ida has carried over the band members. And so I'm guessing they're going to put them full-bodied into the ground. So where we thought, or I should say where I thought Farmer Vincent might have been like chopping these people up in his butcher house and planting their heads in the ground. No, it definitely seems like he's putting the whole bodies in the ground. There we go. We're seeing it. John Ratzenberger's in the ground. So the full bodies are going in the ground and just their heads are what we see, which is kind of interesting because it's like, yeah, they're not dead. They're not dead when they go in the ground. These band members certainly aren't dead. Bo, the motorcyclist, we thought he was dead. He wasn't. Bob, the animal doctor / FBI agent, not dead. So none of these people are dead. Why they've lost the power of speech, I don't know. Funny looking critters, ain't they, Vincent? It takes all kinds of critters to make Farmer Vincent fritters, baby. In what way, though? Like, what are they harvesting from these people that aren't dead yet in the ground? And why are they so obsessed with spraying their hands? What they be doing? Okay, she's got a syringe. She's doing something. It's a growth hormone. I have no idea. I'm just saying that. Okay, that lady, the one lady in the band who moaned, it was like the least realistic moan. Everybody else moans as if they're like on the brink of death. Oh, what's happening there? A slit. Okay, so I guess that's how it removed. They killed their ability to talk. They slit perhaps their vocal cords. I think you and I have talked about this before. I don't know that I necessarily agree with him on like horror movies have stopped being entertaining, but
it depends. Like and I think I'm pretty sure I've said this before, in the horror subgenre of kind of torture porn movies, like the
Mhm.
Saw movies, I do not enjoy movies like that because
Yeah.
they're just not. I don't
Yeah.
like to be scared in that way. That's not really scary. It's just traumatizing.
It's just trauma.
I don't want that in my brain. I don't want those images in my brain.
Right, right. Yeah. And I agree with you on that. It's just like there's not, and maybe that's what he's sort of referring to. It's like the horror movies that take it so far into the realm where it's just like, it's just violence for the sake of
Mhm.
violence.
Or slow
That's,
torture, like,
yeah.
slasher, who's going around just offing people really quickly and efficiently, I'm down with that. But they're just gonna tie them up and dry and, like, I don't know, make them slice off pieces of themselves slowly. No, thank you.
Yeah, okay. He
Why
says
not?
he ends it with Motel Hell is a welcome change of pace. It's to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre as Airplane is to Airport.
Did you recognize John Ratzenberger? Did you
I
see his name in
did.
the credits?
Yes, I
Cliff. Like, he
did.
didn't say a word, but
Right.
he just got buried.
I know. I did recognize him. There's a young John Ratzenberger, although he still looks I
He
said
still
this,
looked,
he looks
like,
a little old.
middle-aged, right? He still looked middle-aged.
Okay, so as I predicted, Sheriff and Terry going out on a date movie at the drive-in. Why she's still in this community, I don't know. And now we've got, who are these people? Creepy Farmer Vincent and Ida again? I don't know. Who are these people? Looks like Creepy Farmer Vincent and Ida. What they doing now? There are the heads. Ugh. So they have feeding apparatus. This is just real disturbing. Feeding apparatuses, and they're feeding them. For what purpose, though? What is this supposed to produce? What does this do? No, lady, they're not going to appreciate you in the years to come for what you're doing here. Oh, okay, somebody's got to take a little responsibility for the planet. In what way, ma'am? What is it? What is this? So the sheriff was trying to drive his date to the drive-in, and instead, he drove his date to a lookout corner where people have been making it out, having sex. There's a naked lady. Get back in that vehicle. Move your asses. You could have just left them. You could have just left them. Also, like, if you hear a cop car, if you hear a cop hollering through a bullhorn to get out, what makes you think running out of the car butt naked is a solution? Like, stay in the car and just drive away, babe. Is he too cheap to pay for a drive-in movie? So now he has to give his date binoculars to a drive-in movie? Sir, this isn't cute. So now we have two women riding by themselves. We've got these fake cows in the road. And these two women who are talking about the money they made this week. And I'm not sure what they do, but they can't drive around because there's not enough room. So she's saying, Debbie, get out, move them. So she's got to try to go out and move these fake cows. What the hell's going on here? They're just like, what, wood cutouts? Oh no, there's Farmer Vincent, presumably, putting the gas on this girl, immediately taking her down. Debbie's still in the car screaming bloody murder. Yeah, babe, get in the car and drive on. Plow that man down. So now we're back to Sheriff and Terry. You should not be in a car with him. Oh, he's inching closer. She's trying to watch the movie. He's like, excuse me. I almost took you to a drive-in movie theater. Doesn't that entitle me to something? And apparently he thinks it does, because now we have an assault situation happening. That's great. That's great. Oh no. So now I have the girl racing down the highway, being driven by Vincent's truck. Okay, we do have a link from flickeringmyth.com to an article where this movie makes a list of most obscure and underrated slasher movies of the 80s. And so I'm going to read a few of those movies off the list, not all of them, but off the list to see if you know them or what you think of them, Ron. So the article tells us that Motel Hell is an early example of filmmakers seeing the formula and cliches of slashers and starting to twist them in their favor. So years before Wes Craven would do it with movies like Scream and New Nightmare. Here are some of the other movies that made the list. Tell me if you know them. Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bowl-O-Rama came out in 1988.
No, I can proudly say I do not know that movie.
There's one that came out in 1983 called One Dark Night.
Were these all like sea level, like
I'm
sea
sure, like
movies?
obscure. Yeah. What about this one? I've heard other people mention this one. I've never seen it. Are you familiar with The Prowler? Came out in 1981.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not ringing a bell.
We're gonna have to have like a 80s B horror movie night. Okay, this one you know. Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2.
Well, I
Hello,
know
Mary.
Prom Night.
I've seen Hello, Mary Lou, Prom Night 2. I've seen that video cover at Hollywood Video, Blockbuster back in the day. I remember it.
Yeah, I think I've seen the title, but
Came
I
out
did
in
see the first one. I
1987.
saw Prom Night.
That one had
Jamie Lee Curtis. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then this is, again, I'm not reading the full list, but one of the other ones that I've heard come up quite a bit, 1983's Sleepaway Camp.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever saw that one.
I did. One of the classic twists at the end for that movie. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen Sleepaway Camp. I have read enough about it that I think I know what happens, but I don't know. I've never seen it. And who's to say? Maybe I have seen parts of it on TV and I just don't remember. So he's taking them to their hotel room, a special hotel room for the night. She says, "Why don't you invite your daughter?" He says, "He's not my daughter." I see. They're going to have some sexual escapades is what this is. "Madam, you need to get control of your whip. Your whip has control of you. Sweet pea, you're knocking everything down in a chaotic fashion. Are you trying to rack up a hotel damage bill?" So as they're getting their kink on, Farmer Vincent and Ida have entered the suite. They don't seem too pleased with all the oil lubricant being squirted onto their rugs. I wouldn't be either. That's a mess to clean up. They're going to tie these folks up hog style. "Terry, you dumb woman. I'm getting used to life on the farm, I guess. It's so great. Ma'am." And I guess Farmer Vincent is taking her on as like a daughter. Like, you be the daughter I never had. Someday I might teach you the art of fine smoking. I can't tell what's going on. Does she look to him as a father figure? Is she falling in love with him? What's happening? But she's about to stumble on to where all the pig slaughtering happens. So she is in the butcher house. There are pigs. There are those girls' balloons, the twins' balloons. Now we know the twins made it out alive. They did make it to the car. She does not seem disturbed by the pigs, the slaughtered pigs in the house. Because she knows how it works. She understands where the meat comes from. She's not a child. But what's behind that door, Terry? And out comes Ida. She says, "Don't go in that room. Do you know what would have happened if Vincent had caught you?" "Vincent was going to teach me how to smoke the meat." "Oh, he did," Ida said. Is Ida going to feel threatened? That's a foot and a bucket of junk. And Ida says, "What a day for tubing. You got to put the meat in the tube." I'm guessing that's what she means. That's where the sausage comes from, baby. Oh, no, it is tubing. It is tubing in water. Okay, so what's important to note is Ida was trying to get Terry's eyes off what was cooking in that pot. And there was definitely a foot. There was definitely some fingers. And so she says, "Let's go tubing, baby, in the old watering hole." She has a razor blade that she's pulled out of her swim cap. Does Ida feel a threat? "Terry, you in danger, girl." "Oh, okay." So Ida just deflated her own inner tube. For what purpose? And now she's going to be like, "I can't swim." Terry's coming over to help her. What's going to happen? Okay, a drowning's going to happen is what's going to happen. Farmer Vincent can have you. I'm not going to be replaced. Terry, you should have left when you could, girl. You're going in the ground, Terry. Head first. Head out. Vincent saved her. It's going to be the end of Ida because Ida tried to betray him and take what was special to him. We do have a link to where you can see an online version of the original Fangoria magazine that featured Motel Hell on the cover. I think it ran in print originally in November of 1980. So at this link, they say the Motel Hell issue of Fangoria has long been considered the holy grail of the magazine's original print run. It's nearly impossible to score this collectible. So you can go to this link and look at it online. We'll have it in our episode resources. Veronica, did you know this wacky movie features not one, but two Playboy magazine playmates? They are the two girls who don't really have anything to do.
The girls that showed up in the car and see the road blocked by fake cows and didn't think that was like, let's just get out and move it.
Get out and move it. Yeah. So it's
This isn't weird at all.
Monique St. Pierre played the character Debbie, and Roseanne Caton's character was named Susie. So
I
yeah,
didn't even
frankly,
catch their names in the movie.
I don't think they were given very much to do in the movie. But thanks
I
to them,
will
we do get
say-
that cow scene, which I thought was pretty hysterical. The cow cutouts.
I will say I felt kind of bad for what was his name? Boris? The motorcycle guy?
Bo? Is it Bo? I
Is
kept
it
calling
Bo?
him Bo.
Okay, it might
Maybe
be Bo.
Boris was his full name. Yeah.
I did feel bad that he died because I felt like,
I know.
he escaped. He should have, but he went back for Terry.
And he tried to help Terry.
Terry is too stupid to live. Like there was one point where it was like right after she discovers that Bo died and she's crying and she's like, I don't know why I'm here. I'm like, good question, Terry. I want to know why you're still
I
there
don't know
too.
why you're here either.
Why are you there with these strange people?
And just latching on to whatever man of the moment. Like first it's Bruce, and then it's Farmer Vincent. He's gonna be my old man. I'm like, ma'am, get your act together. Anyway,
It's just
yeah.
weird. So yeah, she like actually I was kind of disappointed that she survived the whole movie because I was like, you're too dumb to live.
And now is his sheriff brother finally doing his job and investigating stuff. What did he think his big brother was doing all this time? Did he just think he was a little eccentric? Did he not know about the Garden of Heads? See, here I was thinking this sheriff is obviously in on it, and now I'm beginning to think maybe he was just stupid. So I guess what I don't understand. Like, I understand that they're putting these heads in the ground. But then how are they harvesting the feet and the fingers that we see cooking in the soup later on? Like, at what point do they pull these creatures and then slaughter them? And what are these lights doing? So basically, Ida and Farmer Vincent have shown up with these lights, these strobe lights that are doing something to these heads, hypnotizing them perhaps. For what? What are they going to do? Rapidly increasing lights. And it puts the heads in a silent stupor and does what for them? Gives them peace? So Farmer Vincent is hypnotizing these band members that are planted in the ground into a hypno high, heavier but smoother than any trip you've ever had, he says. So the countdown begins. Maybe that's what's happening. They're going to be harvested. Oh, this is going to be nasty. Oh, it's not right. It's not right. It's not right. Here it goes. Engine starting. 3, 2, 1. Ready for takeoff. What's happening now? Oh, it's going to be so bad. Oh, disgusting. Oh, disgusting. And so now they just have to dig them up. I'm waiting for the funny. And there it is. Sometimes I wonder about the karmic implications of these actions. Yeah, babe, that's pretty messed up, she says to Farmer Vincent to reboard his little tractor now that he's snapped their necks. And what is just going to pull their, that's not right. Pull their bodies from the ground. I do want to point out though, just a thing I'm saying, if we're talking about things that we've planted into the ground, it would just seem to me that somebody like Bob, somebody like Bo, the biker guy that they planted at the beginning of the film, it seemed like those people would be more ready to harvest than this band because we just planted those guys, right? So thinking strictly in like gardening terms here, you wouldn't harvest them first. They've not been in the ground very long. You would harvest the other folks who have been in the ground longer. So I'm just pointing out that little discrepancy. Just me and my little gardener brain for a second. I'm saying, hey, I don't know about this. We would harvest the folks who've been in the ground longer, would we not? Yes, I think so. Anyway. I shall now read to you. I'm going to read to you rando people's reviews that I got off Rotten Tomatoes because some of these were pretty hysterical. So I'm going to keep names out, going to stay anonymous, of course. But here's one reviewer wrote, I have loved this movie ever since I was a kid. Great cast, really fun, not all that gory, but some dark humor and very entertaining. Somebody else wrote, fails in both comedy and horror. And then a third person wrote, Motel Hell isn't a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it is better than one would expect and more entertaining than it has a right to be. And then a fourth person wrote, what the flip is this trash? Why did the girl stay in the first place and then marry an old man? To me, that's a very dumb thing to marry an old man after a couple of days and her previous boyfriend being killed. He's not wrong. They go on to say, I do like the idea of a motel serving human meat for years and people enjoy it. It's not very sanitary, but the meat license guy doesn't really care, which makes sense. Most people dislike their government jobs.
Okay. Well, that was the other thing that's just like, and again, you can't take this movie seriously, but apparently Vincent's been doing this for like 30 some odd years, and the marsh pond is full of, according to Brother Bruce, like 20, 30 cars. I'm like, this must be like the Bermuda Triangle for missing people. Like, has nobody ever figured, like, why does everybody seem to go missing right around this area?
Right. Well, and like watching the movie, I really thought his brother, Sheriff Bruce, I really kind of thought the understanding was Sheriff Bruce was in on it. So then towards the end of the movie, when he's like uncovering all of this truth about his brother, it's like, didn't you know? Like, what did you think he was doing all this time? Sheriff Bruce is so desperately trying to rescue Terry from these evil clutches. But it's like at this point, Terry must really want to be there. Sheriff Bruce, I did some detective work. I did the basics of my job. And I found some stuff out, Terry. You gotta come with me. My brother's trying to kill you. Okay, so here's Ida bathing up the band members and then boil them. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is counterproductive. Doesn't boiling do the trick? I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about this, FYI, but I feel like maybe boiling does the trick. I don't know. Ida's off to go get something to eat because she's hungry, man. Prepping all this meat and she doesn't get to have any. Makes sense, I suppose. Okay, I don't want to see this. Oh, chainsaw to the head. Don't want to see it, don't want to see it, don't want to see it, don't need to see it, don't need to see it. What the hell is she making? That's a lot of whipped cream on a chicken wing. And Ida hears Sheriff Bruce working to get Terry out. So, I mean, if Ida is Farmer Vincent's sister, then that means she's Sheriff Bruce's sister. Sheriff Bruce is trying to convey to Terry what all he's found. 200 cars ambushed and driven into the marsh. 200 cars in a marsh. That's a big-ass marsh. And now she's got Terry. Oh, time to teach her the finer points of meat smoking. There's Bob. So see, by now they should have harvested Bob. There's the girl and her friend. There's the kinky sex people. He's getting them all free. None of them can talk, poor bastards. I just like, it's going to be the end of you, Terry. Sorry. But my baby brother talked. I'm taking you to the woodshed. Here come all of the garden heads, staggering forward like zombies. This is great. Mind you, none of them can talk anymore. They've had their throats slashed. So they really are zombie-esque creatures. So now Terry understands the gravity of where she's ended up. Farmer Vincent says, look at me, Terry. He asks her, what do you see? And she spits in his face. Poor Farmer Vincent, you get the sense he's heartbroken. He really wanted this to work. Here come the gang of garden zombies. I love it. They all move together. They all barely walk. I love the concept of these people seeking vengeance on this crazy crew. Do it. Burn it to the ground. Set it on fire. Here comes one of the zombie crew attacking Ida. And she says, how'd you get out? That's right. Get Ida. Get her. That's right. I want to see Ida get what's coming to her. Eat her. I'm kidding. I don't know. They're not zombies. And there perhaps is the end of Ida. Are they going to eat her? Don't do that. Don't go that far. Okay, so as Farmer Vincent is sawing off a foot, he says, and Terry is getting queasy about it. He's like, oh, come on, girl. Haven't you ever cleaned a fish? Closing thoughts on this movie. What did you... Was this a fun watch? Was this one you'd watch again? Maybe not. Like, I had to rent it. I'm not sure I'd pay $3.99 to watch it, but if it were on TV, I'd watch it.
I'm glad I found it free on AMC Channel on Demand. I mean, it was kooky. It was fun. And I don't know that I would watch it again. I'm certainly not planning on making it part of my traditional October rotation. I am wondering though if there's got to be a shirt out there somewhere that has that. It takes all kinds of critters to make Farmer Vincent's fritters.
I bet so.
There's got
And
to be a shirt
you know what
or
I
a
kind of
cap, something.
you know what I kind of referenced in like my live watch taping that song. You're feasting on my
Hmm.
bitter side. Like I that's pretty catchy. I'm like I bet you that's playing in some dive bars somewhere. Any particular moment in the movie that stands out to you is like that was a really enjoyable scene or that was a really enjoyable line?
Enjoyable is a strong word, Valerie, for this movie.
What did you think of
Um,
the like once the people get out of the dirt? I
I
called
was
them the
like
garden zombies.
zombies.
Garden
I was
zombies.
like zombies. This is where I was wondering if like maybe the version that I was watching, they edited out a scene. So you tell me, was there more to Ida's demise when the Cabbage Patch
I
people
didn't
were
I didn't
were
see it. Cabbage
attacking
Patch
her?
people. We're just gonna
Okay.
call them the Cabbage Patch people. The Cabbage Patch OGs.
There you go. I was just
Um,
wondering if there was more to her demise because it cut away pretty
no,
pretty
they didn't.
quickly.
Because I was wondering. I was like, they're not gonna eat her, right? Maybe they are gonna eat her,
And
but
and while we're talking about the Garden Cabbage Patch OGs, what happened to them? They're just like a
I
bunch of
know.
vocal cordless people
I know we
wandering
don't
around.
see them again. I'm like, well, where did they go? What became of them? Now they
Nowhere
have to go through this life
with
with.
no vocal cords.
He's gonna throw him in the smoker. There he goes in the smoker. Ah, Bo, you gave it your best. Okay, meanwhile, we have Sheriff Bruce up in the front, the ground level of the house/hotel, readying a rifle, calling for Terry with a chainsaw, getting to work. Here it comes. Oh, is this finally, in the final, 10 minutes of this movie, we see the person wearing the pig face. Is it Farmer Vincent? It's gotta be. It's the overalls, it's the flannel, wearing the pig head. I don't love this. I don't love chainsaw fighting. Oh, not great. Slicing up Sheriff Bruce. Oh, this is why you gotta work with like a meat cleaver or something else. A chainsaw is too hard and too tricky to and navigate. So we're getting a lot of scenes of the chainsaw coming awfully close to shredding up clothing, yet magically not shredding up body. And that's a little funny to me because the amount of times that chainsaw has connected with Sheriff Bruce's garments by now, he would have been sliced up. Ew, nasty. Chainsaw just sliced through either a pig body or a human torso. I don't know. And now, do we have a situation where Terry's head is slowly moving towards some sort of slicing apparatus? Meanwhile, these two fools are still fighting it off with the chainsaw. Terry's coming too, and time to see the slicer that she's headed toward. Terry, you best do something. You best rescue yourself, babe. It's time for you to not look any more towards Bo. Don't look any more towards Bruce. Don't look any more towards Vincent. None of these people can help you. Be your own savior. Learn how to be alone for a little while and enjoy singlehood. Farmer Vincent has gone insane as he's slicing up his baby bro, laughing hysterically as he does so from his pig mask. Again, I'm assuming this is Farmer Vincent. Who else would it be? Slice into that pig head. Do it. Do it, Sheriff Bruce. Do it. Oh, I don't want to see it. Oh, I don't want to see it. Get him. Get him. Sheriff Bruce has finally got him, slicing into the side of his brother, Farmer Vincent. And Sheriff Bruce is like, holy crap, is that you? Here he comes to the rescue. He's going to pull her off the conveyor belt where she was headed to her doom. Oh, Farmer Vincent is not dead yet. He has a chainsaw stuck in him. Pull the pig head off, you moron. Why are you wearing a pig head? Just let the man die. Why are you trying to save him? You can have the motel, he says. And the garden. The secret garden. Oh, my whole life has been a lie, he says. He says he's been the biggest hypocrite of them all. In what way, Vincent? In what way? I knew he was going to say that. He says, I've been the biggest hypocrite of all. My meats, I used preservatives.
I thought, okay, Funny wise, I thought the scene with the the swinging couple that showed
Yes.
up and they're in their room and she's going crazy with her whip and he comes out in his little special outfit. That was just
I know.
weird. That was funny.
Yeah, I don't know that I would necessarily throw this in my Halloween rotation. If it were on TV, I might check it out again, and I bet you I would find even more to laugh at the second time around. But yeah, if you haven't seen this, I'm not sure that it's worth $3.99 to rent it.
No, find it for free.
Find it for free. So,
Oh, did you also
okay.
catch Wolfman Jack? Do you know
I
Wolfman
did,
Jack? Okay.
I did
He's
catch
kind of
him.
before your time.
Yeah, he's before my time. I didn't mention it in the live watch recording, but I did catch him. Well, who is he playing? What is that character?
He was just like a church preacher that appears on television.
Evangelical, yeah.
Kind of preacher.
All right. Well, that about wraps that up. Thank you guys for joining along with us on this bizarro journey. We've got one more episode coming your way this month, and it's going to be our Halloween week episode, October 28th, to discuss Witches by Brenda Lozano. By the way, you can officially join our book club by visiting don'twatchatnight.com. When you join the club, you get our paired cocktail recipe cards emailed to you. We also email you with our newest book club selection so that you always know what we're reading next. It's free, so go to our website and get signed up. Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and we will see you next time.
Bye. Don't Watch at Night is a Nest production hosted by me, Veronica, and Valerie. Editing by Valerie. Music by Omar Chakor. Production support for this episode provided by Lorenzo Villarreal and Alex Street. Listen to new episodes of Don't Watch at Night every other Monday, and don't forget to give us a rate and review. It's the best way to help us grow.